Welcome back to TAE Certification Training Series. Today we'll be going through a few practice questions for Chapter 5. The first question is, why is it important for the TAS to log the expected and actual behavior? And the options are option A, to increase the size of log files, option B, to save disk space and memory, option C, to provide information for efficient analysis of failures, and option D, to increase the performance of the SUT. And the correct answer is option C, to provide information for efficient analysis of failures. So logging the expected and actual behavior is important to help efficiently analyze test failures. It allows testers to compare what should have happened, which is the expected behavior, with what actually happened, which is crucial for identifying why the failures even occurred. Let's have a look at the other options. Option A, to increase the size of log files. Increasing log files is generally not a desired outcome in software testing. The goal is to capture relevant information for analysis while keeping log files as concise as possible. Then we have option B, to save disk space and memory. This option is incorrect because logging expected and actual behavior is not primarily done to save disk space and memory. While efficient logging practices can help manage resource usage, the primary goal is to aid in the analysis of test results and identify issues. Then we have option D. Logging expected and actual behavior is not intended to increase the performance of the SUT. It's focused on providing information for analysis and diagnosis of test failures, not on improving the SUT's performance. Hence, this is also an incorrect option. Question number 2. When a test case fails in automated testing, what is the crucial next step? Option A, assign blame to the testing team. Option B, immediately fix the defect in the system under test SUT. Option C, analyze the failure to distinguish between SUT defects and external issues. And option D, retry the same test case with different inputs. And the correct answer is option C, analyze the failure to distinguish between SUT defects and external issues. Okay, so when a test case fails, it's important to analyze the failure. This analysis is important because it determines that whether the failure occurred due to a defect in the SUT, system under test, or it was caused by any external issues such as problems with the testing environment or the testing tool itself. So now let's have a look at the other options which are incorrect. So option A, assign blame to the testing team. Okay, so this is incorrect because assigning blame is not a productive or constructive response to a test case failure. The focus should be on identifying and resolving the issue, not assigning the blame. And then the option B is immediately fix the defect in the system under test. Okay, now this is incorrect because while fixing defects in the SUT is essential, it may not always be the appropriate immediate response to a test case failure. Before making changes to the SUT, it's important to understand whether the failure is indeed caused by a defect in the SUT or any external issue. And making hasty changes without proper analysis can introduce new problems. Then let's have a look at option D, retry the same test case with different inputs. This one is incorrect because retesting is a common practice in software testing, but simply retrying the same test case with different inputs may not address the root cause of the failure. Question number 3. What is the main problem associated with having many automated tests fail for the same reason? And the options are A, it indicates a high level of software defects. B, it is costly to maintain automated tests. C, it highlights the efficiency of automated testing. And D, it suggests a need for more automated tests. And the correct answer is B, it is costly to maintain automated tests. Okay, so having many automated tests fail for the same reason can lead to increased maintenance cost because you would need to address the root cause of the repeated failures, and then you have to update the test and you have to ensure that they remain accurate and effective. So this situation can be very time consuming and also resource intensive as well, and which will make the test maintenance more costly. Okay, let's have a look at the other incorrect options. Option A, it indicates a high level of software defects. Okay, so this option is incorrect because the presence of many automated test failures for the same reason does suggest a problem, but it does not necessarily indicate a high level of software defects. So the same issue might be causing multiple tests to fail, but it doesn't provide a quantitative measure of the overall software defect level. Then option C, it highlights the efficiency of automated testing. Okay, so this option is also incorrect because having many automated tests fail for the same reason is not an indicator of the efficiency of automated testing. In fact, it may indicate inefficiency if the same issues keep causing failures. Then the last one, option D, it suggests a need for more automated tests. Now, this option is incorrect because if many tests are already failing for the same reason, adding more tests may not be the best solution. It is important to first address the root cause of the repeated failures and improve the existing test before considering additional tests. Adding more tests without addressing the underlying issues can just lead to a more complex and costly testing process. Question number 4. Why does the importance of the time it takes to execute automated tests grow as the number of test cases increases? Option A, to find defects in the software. Option B, it doesn't matter. Option C, to identify issues with the testing tool. And option D, to maintain testing efficiency. And the correct answer is option D, to maintain testing efficiency. As the number of test cases increases, it becomes important to consider the time it takes to execute them to ensure that the testing process remains efficient. Okay, let's have a look at the other options. Option A, to find defects in the software. Okay, so the question is specifically about the time it takes to execute tests, not the primary goal of finding defects. While identifying defects is a crucial goal of testing, the question focuses on the importance of test execution time as test cases increase. Then option B, it doesn't matter. Okay, so ignoring the impact of test execution time can lead to inefficiencies and delays in the testing process. Hence, this is the incorrect option as well. And option C, to identify issues with the testing tool. So this option is incorrect because the question is about the importance of test execution time itself, not about identifying issues with the testing tool. Question 5. In TAS logging, what does the execution status of a test case refer to? Option A, the detailed steps of the test case. Option B, the start and end times of test case execution. Option C, whether the test case is currently under execution. And option D, whether the test case execution resulted in pass, fail, or TAS error. And the correct answer is option D. The execution status of a test case in TAS typically refers to the outcome of the test case execution, which can be pass, it can be fail, or TAS error. And this status provides important information about whether the test case achieved the expected result or encountered an issue during execution. Now let's see option A, the detailed steps of the test case. Now this one is incorrect because the execution status of a test case does not refer to the detailed steps of the test case. The execution status is a summary of whether the test case passed, failed, or encountered an error, not a description of the steps themselves. Then we have option B, the start and end times of test case execution. Okay, so the execution status does not refer to the start and end times of test case execution. While tracking execution times is essential for performance evaluation, it is not the primary meaning of the execution status. Then option C, whether the test case is currently under execution. The execution status typically indicates the outcome of the test case after it has been executed, not whether it is currently being executed. It is a retrospective assessment of the test case result. Question number 6. What is the primary limitation of using test logs for understanding the overall execution result of a test suite? And the options are option A, test logs do not record execution steps and actions. B, test logs are not detailed enough to provide information about test cases. C, test logs lack reporting functionality for summarizing execution results. And D, test logs are not reusable for generating concise reports. And the correct answer is C. Test logs lack reporting functionality for summarizing execution results. So while test logs provide detailed information about execution steps, actions, and responses, they do not offer a good overview of the overall execution result. And this limitation is due to the absence of reporting functionality, which is necessary to create and publish concise reports summarizing the results. Hence, this is the correct answer. Okay, now let's have a look at the incorrect options. So option A, this is not the primary limitation, as test logs are designed to record execution details, including steps and actions. Hence, this is an incorrect option. Then option B. Okay, so test logs are generally detailed and it does include information about test cases. So this is not the primary limitation. Then we have option D. Test logs are typically reusable and it provides structured data that can be used to create concise and meaningful reports about test execution results. Hence, this is incorrect as well. Question 7. Why is it important to know the history of test execution, including the responsible person when dealing with failed tests? A. To assign blame for test failures. B. To avoid further testing. C. To make troubleshooting easier and ensure accountability. And D. To ignore the issues related to test failures. And the correct answer is C. To make troubleshooting easier and ensure accountability. Knowing the history of test execution and the responsible person is essential for making troubleshooting more manageable and ensuring that accountability is maintained. So this process allows for the investigation of the cause of test failures, reporting of issues, following up on the issue fixes, and verifying the correct implementation of fixes. Okay, now let's have a look at A, to assign blame for test failures. The primary purpose of knowing the history and responsible person is not to assign blame, but to identify the cause of test failures so that you can address issues and you can ensure that the testing process is efficient and effective. Then we have option B, to avoid further testing. Okay, so knowing the history and responsible person is not intended to avoid further testing. Instead, it's about addressing issues and improving the testing process. And then, of course, it ensures that the test failures are properly handled. Hence, this is also an incorrect option. Then we have option D, to ignore the issues related to test failures. This option is incorrect because ignoring issues related to test failures is not the purpose of knowing the history and responsible person. On the contrary, the goal is to address and resolve these issues and ensure that the testing process is optimized. Question 8. What is the primary purpose of including a summary in the test execution report? A. To identify the person responsible for the test execution. B. To provide an overview of the execution results. C. To report the issues related to test failures. Or D. to list the total number of tests executed. And the correct answer is B, to provide an overview of the execution results. The primary purpose of including a summary in the test execution report is to offer a high-level overview of the results of the test execution. Okay, let's see option A, why this is incorrect. So the inclusion of a summary is not primarily for identifying the person responsible, but for summarizing the test results. Responsibility may be mentioned in the report, but it's not the primary purpose of the summary. Then we have option C, to report the issues related to test failures. Reporting issues related to test failure is important, but the main purpose of a summary is to give a concise overview of the test results, while detailed reports might address the specific issues. And option D, to list the total number of tests executed. Okay, while the total number of tests executed is an important piece of information, it does not fully capture the purpose of a summary, which is to provide an overview of the execution results, not just a count. Question number 9. In a large software development organization, test automation is a critical part of the testing process. Testers rely on automated test frameworks, TAF components, to execute test cases. What role does reporting play in diagnosing any failures of the TAF components? Okay, let's have a look at the options. The option A is reporting helps in creating detailed test cases for TAF components. B, reporting provides a summary of the system being tested. C, reporting is used to identify who is responsible for TAF component failures. Or D, reporting is crucial for diagnosing failures of the TAF components. And the correct answer is D, reporting is crucial for diagnosing failures of the TAF components. It provides information about what happened during the test execution, including details about any failures, which helps in identifying issues and taking corrective actions. So reporting is an essential tool for tracking and troubleshooting failures in the TAF components. Now let's see the other incorrect options. Option A, reporting helps in creating detailed test cases for TAF components. Reporting is typically used after test execution to document the results and issues, not for creating test cases. So this is incorrect. Then other option is B. Reporting provides a summary of the system being tested. While reporting might include a summary of the test results, its primary purpose is to provide detailed information about test execution, including failures, rather than summarizing the system being tested. So this is also incorrect. Then the third option, C, reporting is used to identify who is responsible for TAF component failures. Okay, so reporting may indicate the responsible parties for test failures, but its primary role is to provide information about the failures themselves and not solely to identify individuals responsible. And here is our last question for this session, question number 10. In a software development team, it's essential to identify problematic parts of the system under test to address frequent regressions. How can the history of test reports help in achieving this goal? A, by tracking the individual performance of team members. B, by conducting code reviews for the entire team. C, by gathering statistics on test cases with frequent regressions. Or D, by monitoring the subscription facilities for email delivery. And the correct answer is C, by gathering statistics on test cases with frequent regressions. The history of test reports can help in identifying problematic parts of the system under test by gathering statistics on test cases that exhibit frequent regressions. So this data provides insights into the areas of the software that are prone to recurring issues, and it enables the team to focus their efforts on addressing these problems areas and improve the quality of the SUT. So hence this is the correct option. Now let's have a look at A, why this is incorrect. So tracking individual team member performance is not directly related to identifying problematic part of the SUT. It may be relevant for other purposes like evaluating team members' work, but not for addressing regressions in the SUT. Okay, B. This suggests that conducting code reviews for the entire team is the primary way to find issues in the SUT that lead to frequent regressions. In reality, code reviews are about checking the quality of the code written by team members, not about identifying problems within the SUT itself. Then option D, by monitoring the subscription facilities for email delivery. Okay, so monitoring email delivery subscriptions is not related to identifying problematic parts of the SUT or addressing regressions in the software. It's unrelated to the goal described in this question. I hope you found the practice questions helpful. In the next session, we will start chapter number 6. Till then, happy testing.